Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Sylvia Hooks. I'm the head of product marketing here at HPE. And I'm super excited to be joined by Laura Lincoln, Director of Infrastructure Operations at Grant Thornton. So welcome, Laura.
Yeah, thanks, Sylvia. It's really great to be here today.
Is it your first Discover?
It is my first Discover.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, we just started, so I will not ask you how it's going. You'll tell me that at the end. Okay. So, Laura, let me ask you. You've been a customer of Mist. Tell me how you came to that decision. How did you pick Mist?
Oh, yeah. Well, so let me tell you a little bit about my background, and then I'll tell you how we got there. So, in my role today, my team is currently responsible for all of the campus branch network security, WAN, and prior to this role at Grant Thornton, my background is heavily rooted in the network and operations. I've never been too far away from either of those. And so that has stayed with me throughout my career, that foundation of in operations and network. And so when I make technology decisions, that's what drives how I make those
Through
decisions.
those two lenses.
Yeah, exactly. And so it started about 3 years ago when we went to Mist. We were getting complaints from our users about the wireless network, and the tagline became the Wi-Fi sucks.
Oh, that's horrible tagline.
It's horrible and it's not a good look. So we knew that we needed to do something about that, and we needed to do something really quick. Um, and when we started to look into other solutions, that's when Mist was brought to my attention. It's like, hey, Juniper has this product called Mist. It's absolutely crushing it in the wireless space. And so naturally I was curious as to why. And
My
like,
biggest
okay,
pain point is wireless.
yeah, like how can I use this, to help mitigate, and stabilize our users and what they are experiencing. So that's really how we became an HPE customer. When I looked at all of the data and stacked it up against the competition, it was just too compelling, like not to give Mist a try. So we went for it. We upgraded a couple of sites using Juniper Mist, and the results were almost immediate. The wireless complaints went away overnight. I mean, I actually had people coming up to me and saying, "Thank you for fixing the wireless." That never happens. I mean, I have never known a user to actually say when the
You get
network is
compliments
working good.
Complaints.
Yeah, and so that right there is when we knew we had done something right with Mist.
Okay, so
yes.
that was your first experience with Mist. A very
Yes.
good one. What have you learned since then? Like what features have kept you happy with the product?
Yeah, I mean, the only real validation I need is from my users. However, when we bought Mist, we saw that it had an AI native architecture, and this API first approach that we could build our future automation roadmap on. And that's also what we like. We saw the potential. We knew that we weren't just buying wireless here. We were buying something that we could build on, and it was super exciting.
That's really interesting. So you had automation in mind, maybe from your operations mindset.
Yes.
And that was part of the overall formula for you.
Absolutely.
That's super cool. Okay. And speaking of that, there's a difference between visibility into a problem versus actually taking action on a problem. And I think all of us have to build some experience with what it means to let go of control and have it automation. So, like, which things are you truly letting be self-driving today versus where might you go in the future?
Yeah, so that's a great question because, I mean, automation is scary to some people, right? And I think you have to develop some of that trust over time, and you have to earn it. You have to watch what it does. I mean, the first thing, obviously, that we saw is the self-driving radio management with wireless. I mean, that wasn't just a subtle change. It was immediate. Our network immediately got better, right?
What things was it self-driving? Like, what did it change?
It just changed the frequencies. It would learn. It would, adapt. And I think those were a lot of our struggles that we were having. The users, the experience. Just the other players couldn't couldn't do it. And here it was doing it for us. It saved all the manual tuning that my team were having to do or support from the other vendors. It just took all of this manual workload off of my team.
Wow.
To be able just to let the tool do it. I mean, there's nothing for us to do because there was no complaints. It was just
The
making
amazing
those
thing is,
changes.
you didn't just make the users happier, you took away a whole bit of workload that you didn't need anymore.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yes. Didn't
Okay.
need to like spend that extra time. It was amazing.
Is there anything that surprised you that you end up loving that maybe you didn't, it wasn't even in your purchase decision at first that you've found?
Marvis Minis.
Marvis Minis.
100% love Marvis Minis. I mean, I remember when I saw it coming out, and I was just like, this is too good to be true. This is an operations, dream to have something that is visible. We had looked at other platforms before to give us this synthetic visibility, and there was so much overhead and responsibility to maintain and operate that for not a whole lot of value, to be honest. Then when I saw it was like actually being built into the same platform we already had, there's nothing additional I needed to do, no additional investments. I mean, that was kind of just like a happy strategic accident, I would say. But we knew what we were doing with Mist when we bought it. We saw the potential.
Right. You saw the potential. That was just an unexpected extra piece that you got.
Exactly.
That's
and
amazing.
we just continue to see that evolve. And that's what's really exciting about it.
Is that one of the differences between a system that was built from the ground up to be AI versus a system that's kind of like bolting it on later?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. So, in my space, I always want to make sure we're always making the right technology choices and decisions. So, we did look at some of those other players. And I think what we found is those other players are only plus AI,
Right.
whereas Mist, it just is AI.
Yeah.
I mean, the platform was built on it, right? And I think when we did an assessment of one of those players, my team actually came back to me and said, Laura, it feels like they're trying to mystify
They're faking
their platform, and it feels really funky. And for them to come back to say that to me, like their real experience of trying to use it, because I was like, I want you guys to try it. I want to see how this works and compares so we know we're making the right decisions. And it was just yet another point of affirmation we had done the right thing with Mist.
That's great. So it wasn't just that you like bought the car and loved it. Like you test drove a bunch and
Yeah.
that one really came out on top.
Yeah, that's part of being in my role and my responsibility is to like make sure we know what technology is out there and that we
Okay.
have the best.
I love that. And I know trust is a big piece of the whole equation. Not just trusting automation, but also you're in a regulated industry.
Yep.
So there's some additional considerations there. Talk to me about trust.
Yeah. So, I mean, in our world, managing risk is more operational, right? In my role. So, when you can manage that risk confidently, that's where the shift happens, right? And that's what that's what we've seen with the AI automation and visibility. I now have data to make informed decisions about the network. I can actually see what's happening. And so, we can move from problem to resolution more quickly and faster, and that ultimately translates into reduced business risk, and less disruptions to our client work.
Can you give me an example of a time that's worked?
Yeah, I mean, I have a great Marvis Minis example to tell you about. um I usually don't love to talk about problems and get excited, but in this case, Marvis Mini showed up for us in like a huge way. Um, I came in one morning and we had a multi-site DHCP failure across several locations. We were able to use Minis to quickly identify the problem and the scope. I mean, it was just right there in front of us. So what it enabled me and my team to do at that point is take quick resolution actions to get everything back up and running. And a lot of it was done and complete before users even walked in the door. So not only that, but Marvis Minis also helped us get to the question of like, well, why did that happen in the first place, right? So it helped us get to the root cause. And the way it did that is it provided us with a precise timestamp of when those failures happened. And it prevented us from going on this like wild goose chase
You
to
know
like
where to look.
figure out what had happened. It was right there. So it pointed us to the place to look. And ultimately, we were able to put a permanent fix in that same day and prevent the problem from happening again and have a repeat outage.
Awesome.
So it's incredibly value, and that's where I love, continue to love what this does. And there's more coming, and I'm excited about it. So
If you had to do that manually on your old system, do you have an estimate of how long it would have taken your team?
oh my gosh, I mean, hours to even find out what was happening and the scope, and maybe not until people actually started to complain at those offices, like, because you're just focused on like, okay, maybe until somebody complains,
Right.
you don't know like what's happening.
Right.
And that's stressful. And you're like, you're trying to figure out, okay, is it an internet problem? Is it a wireless problem? Like, where is the problem? That's the first thing you have to do is find out what's broken, and then you can fix it. Well, we didn't have to think about what was broken. Marvis told us what was broken and how wide the scope was. So we could, strategically resolve it like quickly.
You got to start at step 2 almost, right?
Yeah,
Like
like-
step 1, like, okay, we know why and what happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also like getting to the root cause without that timestamp correlation. I mean, we could have been looking all over the place, for a start time, because it was all like, we wouldn't know exactly when the problem started, when users would report it in the morning. So we would be looking at the wrong start time altogether, and maybe not even get to the root cause until days, possibly weeks later, or maybe not until it happens again, quite frankly, which does happen on occasion when you just can't find out the problem. So, yeah.
That's not a good way to operate.
No, it's not. And, this is where Marvis has just been incredibly valuable for me personally in my role and mitigating that operational risk, to our company and to our users.
What advice would you have for people evaluating Mist or other solutions?
I would say this, like, don't think of Mist as like AI as a feature. Treat it as like it changes how you operate. It changes your operating model. So just like with that DHCP failure example I was talking about, it's less about AI in the network and more about here's how we're preventing or, minimizing business impacts from reoccurring. So I try to translate the technology into like business outcomes. Like here's how it helps us operate better. But, and this is what AI does for us in the network, just is the outcome of it all.
That's amazing. And, I think agentic AI leaped onto the scene this early 26, right? And it feels like you're already in it now, right? Like Marvis Minis and Mist technology, like you didn't have to go out and find a way to get started. You're already in it.
We're already in it, and it's great because it's just validation. We continue to make the right investments in the right places.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Laura, it's been super fun talking to you. I love your passion, and I want to thank you for joining me. And thanks to everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, Sylvia.